Hello dear students, today again I am here to explain a lesson from our Beehive book. The name of our lesson is My Childhood and it is from autobiography of APJ Abdul Kalam. Professor APJ Abdul Kalam is the former President of India. This chapter has been taken from his autobiography Wings of Fire. He is one of the world's greatest scientists. In this chapter, he tells us about his childhood. He talks about his parents, his childhood friends, and his experiences at school. He grew up in a traditional society. People of different religions lived in that society. But in spite of different religions, people lived in peace and harmony. He was greatly influenced by his father, who taught him honesty and self-discipline. So let's start this beautiful lesson. I was born into a middle-class Tamil family in the island town of Rameshwaram in the erstwhile Madras state. Erstwhile means former. APJ Abdul Kalam was born into a middle-class Tamil family and his place of birth was Rameshwaram. Rameshwaram is an island town in the state of Tamil Nadu in the Bay of Bengal. Today, we know this state as Tamil Nadu, but when he was born, at that time, the state was known as Madras state. APJ अब्दुल कलाम का जन्म एक मध्यम वर्गीय तमिल परिवार में हुआ था और उनका जन्म स्थान रामेश्वरम, जो बंगाल की खाड़ी में तमिलनाडु राज्य का एक द्वीप शहर है, उसमें हुआ था। आज हम इस राज्य को तमिलनाडु के नाम से जानते हैं, लेकिन जब उनका जन्म हुआ था तब इस राज्य को मद्रास राज्य के रूप में जाना जाता था। My father, Jainul Abdin, had neither much formal education nor much wealth. Despite these disadvantages, he possessed great innate wisdom and a true generosity of spirit. Innate means inborn, a quality or feeling in one's nature. Generosity of spirit means his soul sought to help others who were needy. APJ Abdul Kalam's father's name was Jainul Abdin. APJ says that his father was not very rich, he did not have wealth, he was not highly educated, but despite these disadvantages, he had some other qualities. He was naturally very wise and was generous too. APJ अब्दुल कलाम के पिता का नाम जैनुल आब्दीन था। एपीजे का कहना है कि उनके पिता बहुत अमीर नहीं थे, उनके पास धन नहीं था, वे उच्च शिक्षित नहीं थे, लेकिन इन बातों के न होने के बावजूद उनके पास कुछ अन्य गुण थे। वे स्वाभाविक रूप से बहुत बुद्धिमान थे और उदार भी थे। He had an ideal helpmate in my mother, Ashiamma. APJ's mother's name was Ashiamma. She used to help his father. She was a great support and help to him. APJ की माँ का नाम आशियम्मा था। वह अपने पिता की मदद करती थी। वह एक बहुत बड़ी मददगार थी। I don't recall the exact number of people she fed every day, but I am quite certain that far more outsiders ate with us than all the members of our own family put together. APJ's mother was also generous and kind hearted. Every day she used to feed a lot of people. She fed a greater number of people from outside than the total number of the members in their family. अब्दुल कलाम की माँ का स्वभाव भी बहुत उदार और दयालु था। हर दिन वो बहुत से लोगों को खाना खिलाती थी। उसने अपने परिवार में सदस्यों की कुल संख्या की तुलना में बाहर के लोगों को अधिक संख्या में खाना खिलाया होगा, वैसा अब्दुल कलाम का अनुमान है। I was one of many children, a short boy with rather undistinguished looks, born to tall and handsome parents. Undistinguished means ordinary or common. Abdul Kalam had many siblings and he describes himself that he had short height and common looks. He did not have any exceptional looks. On the contrary, his parents were very tall and handsome. They were good looking. एपीजे कलाम के कई भाई बहन थे और वे खुद का वर्णन करते हैं कि उनकी लंबाई कम थी और आम दिखते थे, मतलब कॉमन चाइल्ड, ऑर्डिनरी चाइल्ड की तरह ही थे वो। उनकी कोई असाधारण खूबसूरती नहीं थी। उसके उपरांत उसके माता पिता बहुत लंबे और सुंदर थे। We lived in our ancestral house which was built in the middle of the 19th century. It was a fairly large pakka house made of limestone and brick on the Mosque Street in Rameshwaram. Pakka house means a house made of bricks, cement and limestone. APJ Abdul Kalam's ancestral house was very old. It was built in the 19th century. It was a pakka house which was made of bricks and limestone. It is located on the Mosque Street in Rameshwaram. एपीजे अब्दुल कलाम का घर बहुत पुराना था। उसे 19th सेंचुरी में बनाया गया था। वो एक पक्का हाउस था जो ईंटों और चूने पत्थर की मदद से बनाया गया था। यह रामेश्वरम में मस्जिद स्ट्रीट पर था। My austere father used to avoid all inessential comforts and luxurious. However, all necessities were provided for in terms of food, medicine or clothes. In fact, I would say mine was a very secure childhood, both materially and emotionally. Austere means simple, strict and severe. Secure means safe. Materially means in terms of things like clothes, food, medicine. Emotionally means in terms of love and affection. APJ's father was very simple, but he was strict also. He wanted to live his life in a simple way, and he used to teach his children not to waste money on unnecessary things. APJ says that his father used to avoid any kind of inessential comfort and luxuries. He provided them all the necessary things, food, clothes and medicines. APJ says that his parents fulfilled all his needs, whether it was any tangible things or their love and affection. This shows that he has the quality of gratitude. APJ is thankful to his parents for whatever they did for him. एपीजे के पिता बहुत ही सिंपल थे, लेकिन वे सख्त भी थे। वह अपने जीवन को साधारण तरीके से जीना चाहते थे और वह अपने बच्चों को आवश्यक चीज़ों पर पैसा बर्बाद न करने की सीख देते थे। एपीजे का जीवन बहुत ही सुख सुविधाओं से भरा हुआ नहीं था, लेकिन आवश्यक चीज वस्तु जैसे भोजन, कपड़े और दवाइयाँ वो हमेशा उनको मिल जाती थी। वो कहते थे कि मुझे अपने माता पिता का अटूट प्यार मिला है। इससे पता चलता है कि उसके पास कृतज्ञता का गुण है। एपीजे अपने माता पिता का शुक्रगुजार करते हैं और वो कहते हैं कि उनकी लाइफ और उनका बचपन बहुत ही सिक्योर था। The Second World War broke out in 1939 when I was 8 years old. For reasons I have never been able to understand, a sudden demand of tamarind seeds erupted in the market. Tamarind seeds means kind of fruit, imli. APJ was 8 years old when the Second World War broke in the year 1939. So he can calculate that he was born in the year 1931. The demand for tamarind seeds increased in the market. I used to collect the seeds and sell them to a provision shop on Mosque Street. A day's collection would fetch me the princely sum of 1 anna. Princely sum means generous amount here in ironic way, and anna means an old Indian coin worth about 6 paise. APJ used to collect and sell the tamarind seeds to a provision shop located on the Mosque Street. He would earn a mere sum of 1 anna, which equals 6 paise. When he addresses it as a princely sum, something very great and valuable. At that time, this 1 anna meant a lot of money to him. एपीजे इमली के बीजों को इकट्ठा करके मस्जिद वाली शॉप में बेचते थे। वहाँ से उनको 1 आना मिलता था। My brother-in-law Jalaluddin would tell me stories about the war, which I would later attempt to trace in the headlines in Dinmani. Dinmani is a Tamil daily newspaper. APJ Abdul Kalam's brother-in-law Jalaluddin used to tell him the stories of the ongoing World War. Later, APJ used to read the newspaper Dinmani and used to look for the news of the same stories. APJ Abdul Kalam के brother-in-law जलालुद्दीन उन्हें चल रहे विश्व युद्ध की बातें किया करते थे, कहानियाँ सुनाते थे। बाद में एपीजे जब अखबार दिनमणि पढ़ते थे तो वह वही कहानियाँ खोजते रहते थे। Our area being isolated was completely unaffected by the war, but soon India was forced to join the Allied forces and something like a state of emergency was declared. Isolated means lonely, cut off, or Allied forces means the armies of UK, USA and Russia during the Second World War. Rameshwaram was a small island town far away from land, so it was not affected by the World War in the beginning. But after some time, India had to join the war and combined with the Allied forces. Then a state of emergency was declared in the country. During emergency, the president's rule is implemented in the country. It is like a curfew in the country. A lot of privileges which are given to the people are withdrawn. रामेश्वरम जो एक छोटा सा आइलैंड है जो ज़मीन से बहुत दूर है, इसलिए यह शुरुआत में विश्व युद्ध से प्रभावित नहीं था, लेकिन कुछ समय बाद भारत को युद्ध में शामिल होना पड़ा और मित्र देशों के साथ गठबंधन किया। तब देश में आपातकाल की स्थिति घोषित कर दी गई थी। The first casualty came in the form of the suspension of the train halt at Rameshwaram station. The newspapers not had to be bundled and thrown out from the moving train on the Rameshwaram road between Rameshwaram and Dhanushkodi. Casualty means loss, suspension means and halt means stop. The first impact of World War II on the people of Rameshwaram was the cancellation of the train stoppage at the Rameshwaram station. Earlier, the train which came from India used to stop at Rameshwaram station and then went further to Dhanushkodi. But now the halt was cancelled and the train went from India to Dhanushkodi without stopping at Rameshwaram. With this, the newspaper bundle was used to come for Rameshwaram was thrown out of the moving train as it reached Rameshwaram road. That forced my cousin Samsuddin, who distributed newspapers in Rameshwaram, to look for a helping hand to catch the bundles, and as if naturally I filled the slot. Samsuddin helped me on my first wages. Filled the slot means fit into a place easily. APJ Abdul Kalam's cousin Samsuddin used to distribute the newspapers in Rameshwaram. As the train stoppage was cancelled and the newspaper bundle was thrown out of the moving train, he needed someone to help him catch it. APJ helped Samsuddin by catching the bundle and distributing the newspapers. In return, Samsuddin paid him a salary which was APJ's first earning. Half a century later, I can still feel the surge of pride in earning my own money for the first time. Here, half a century later means after a period of 50 years. Surge means a great moment of emotion. Pride means sudden increase in the feeling of satisfaction derived from one's own achievements. This incident happened 50 years ago. Even now, when he wrote the book, he could feel satisfied and proud of himself. APJ says that whenever someone earns his first own money with his hard work, he feels it the same way as he did. Every child is born with some inherited characteristics into a specific socio-economic and emotional environment and trained in certain ways by figures of authority. Figures of authority means a person who had authority over another person, a person who has the power to give orders or make decisions. APJ is saying that whenever a child is born, he has some qualities which he acquires from the elders in his family. This depends upon the social status of the family and environment at home. I inherited honesty and self-discipline from my mother. I inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness, and so did my three brothers and sisters. Inherited means a characteristics or a quality which you have got from your parents or ancestors. Socioeconomic means in terms of money. APJ says from his father he inherited honesty and self-discipline, and from his mother he inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness. His siblings also inherited these qualities from their parents. I had three close friends in my childhood: Ramanath Sastri, Arvindan and Shiv Prakashan. All these boys were from Orthodox Hindu Brahmin families. Orthodox means strict. एपीजे के बचपन के दौरान उनके तीन सबसे अच्छे दोस्त थे। इनके नाम रमानाथ शास्त्री, अरविंदन और शिव प्रकाशन है। वे सभी बहुत ही कट्टर हिंदू ब्राह्मण परिवारों के थे और वह उनके धर्म का अच्छे से पालन करते थे। As children, none of us ever felt any difference amongst ourselves because of our religious differences and upbringing. In fact, Ramanath Sastri was the son of Pakshi Lakshman Sastri, the high priest of the Rameshwaram temple. Later he took over the priesthood of the Rameshwaram temple from his father. Arvindan went into the business of arranging transport for visiting pilgrims, and Shiv Prakashan became a catering contractor for the Southern Railways. As APG was from a Muslim family, he says that during his childhood all the children were so close to each other that they never felt they belonged to different religions. Religion was not a barrier in their friendship. वो कहते हैं कि धर्म कभी उनकी दोस्ती के बीच नहीं आया। रामेश्वर में एक बहुत प्रसिद्ध मंदिर है, रामेश्वरम मंदिर। एपीजे के सबसे अच्छे दोस्त रमानाथ शास्त्री इस मंदिर के पुजारी लक्ष्मण शास्त्री के पुत्र थे। जब ये तीनों दोस्त बड़े हो गए तो रामानंदीय शास्त्री ने रामेश्वरम मंदिर का पुजारी पद संभाल लिया। अरविंदन ने रामेश्वरम मंदिर से तीर्थयात्रियों को ले जाने का व्यवसाय शुरू किया और शिव प्रकाश दक्षिण रेलवे के खान पान ठेकेदार बन गए। वे खान पान के प्रभारी थे रेलवे के लिए। ड्यूरिंग द एनुअल श्री सीतारामा Kalyanam ceremony, our family used to arrange boats with a special platform for carrying idols of the Lord from the temple to the marriage site, situated in the middle of the pond called Ramatirtha, which was near our house. Ram Kalyanam ceremony is known as Kalyanotsav. It means marriage festival. In South India, marriage is known as Kalyanam. So Lord Ram and Sita's marriage is called Sita Ram Kalyanam ceremony. It is the ceremony of the depiction of the marriage between Sita and Ram. Whenever the Sri Sita Ram Kalyanam ceremony used to take place, APJ's family also took part in it. They used to arrange the boats for it. They used to make a special platform on the boats on which the statue of Rama and Sita were placed and transported from the temple to the marriage site, which was in the middle of a pond named Ram Tirtha. This pond was near APJ's house. जब भी श्री सीताराम कल्याणम समारोह होता था, एपीजे का परिवार भी इसमें शामिल होता था। वे इसके लिए नावों की व्यवस्था करते थे। वे नावों पर एक विशेष मंच बनाते थे जिस पर राम और सीता की मूर्ति रखी जाती थी और मंदिर से विवाह स्थल तक पहुंचाया जाता था, जो रामतीर्थ नामक एक तालाब के बीच में था। यह तालाब एपीजे के घर के पास था। Events from the Ramayana and from the life of the prophet were the bedtime stories my mother and grandmother would tell the children in our family. APJ says that they listen to stories from the Ramayana and the life of the prophet from their mother and grandmother as bedtime stories. So they listen to stories of both Hindu gods and Muslim gods. There was no differentiation on grounds of religion. One day, when I was in the 5th standard at the Rameshwaram Elementary School, a new teacher came to our school. I used to wear a cap which marked me as a Muslim, and I always sat in the front row next to Ramanath Sastri, who wore the sacred thread. Sacred thread means a code worn by Hindus of the 3 upper castes as a sign of being twice born. जनोई जिसे हम कहते हैं. As APJ Abdul Kalam belonged to a Muslim family, he used to wear a cap on his head which identified him as a Muslim. His friend Ramanath Sastri, who was the son of the priest of the Rameshwaram temple, belonged to a Hindu Brahmin family and used to wear the sacred thread worn by Brahmins. When these children were in class 5, a new teacher came to their class. APJ Abdul Kalam recalls an incident which happened then. The new teacher could not stomach a Hindu priest's son sitting with a Muslim boy. In accordance with our social ranking, as the new teacher saw it, I was asked to go and sit on the back bench. Could not stomach means could not tolerate. This new teacher could not tolerate that a Hindu priest's son was sitting next to a Muslim boy. He told APJ to go and sit on the last bench as he belonged to a lower rank of the society. ये नया शिक्षक बर्दाश्त नहीं कर सका कि एक हिंदू पुजारी का बेटा एक मुस्लिम लड़के के बगल में बैठा था। उन्होंने एपीजे से कहा कि वे आखिरी बेंच पर जाए और बैठे क्योंकि वह समाज के निचले पद से थे। I felt very sad and so did Ramanath Sastri. He looked utterly downcast as I shifted to my seat in the last row. The image of him weeping when I shifted to the last row left a lasting impression on me. Downcast means sad or depressed. Both the children felt very bad when APJ changed his seat and went back and sat on the last bench. Ramanath felt very bad. APJ still remembers the image of his friend Ramanath crying. It left a lifelong impression on Kalam of his friend's feelings for him. After school, we went home and told our respective parents about the incident. Lakshmana Sastri summoned the teacher and in our presence told the teacher that he should not spread the poison of social inequality and communal intolerance in the minds of innocent children. Summoned means called. Both children went home and told their parents about this incident, and Ramanath's father, Lakshmana Sastri, called the new teacher and scolded him. He told him not to kill the children's friendship by putting the poison of discrimination and religious into their innocent mind. दोनों बच्चों ने घर जाकर अपने माता पिता को इस घटना के बारे में बताया और रमानाथ के पिता लक्ष्मण शास्त्री ने नए शिक्षक को बुलाया और उसे डांटा। उन्होंने उनसे कहा कि वे मासूम बच्चों के दिमाग में जाति और धार्मिक के जहरीले भेदभाव को डालकर बच्चों की दोस्ती को न मारे। He bluntly asked the teacher to either apologize or quit the school and the island. Not only did the teacher regret his behavior, but the strong sense of conviction Lakshmana Sastri conveyed ultimately reformed this young teacher. Bluntly means speaking in a direct and honest way, even if this offends or upsets people. Apologize means seek pardon. Quit means to leave. Conviction means a strong opinion or belief. Convey means communicated. Lakshmana Sastri was very clear in himself. He told the teacher, either you ask sorry for the wrong you have done or else leave the school and Rameshwaram town also. The teacher asked sorry for the mistake he had done, and due to Lakshmana Sastri determination, his thoughts about religion and caste changed. लक्ष्मण शास्त्री खुद में बहुत स्पष्ट थे। उन्होंने शिक्षक से कहा, या तो वो अपनी गलती मान ले और क्षमा मांगे, वरना स्कूल और रामेश्वरम शहर छोड़ दे। शिक्षक ने अपने द्वारा की गई गलती के लिए दुख व्यक्त किया और लक्ष्मण शास्त्री के दृढ़ संकल्प के कारण धर्म और जाति के बारे में उनके विचार बदल गए। On the whole, the small society of Rameshwaram was very rigid in terms of the segregation of different social groups. However, my science teacher Siva Subramanya Iyer, through an Orthodox Brahmin with a very conservative wife was something of a rebel. Rigid means strict, segregation means separation, orthodox means one who follows the religion strictly, conservative means traditional, rebel means in opposition. The division of society into four groups, Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Sudras, was strictly followed in Rameshwaram. Abdul Kalam's science teacher Shiv Subramanya Iyer was a religious person, an orthodox Brahmin, but was a rebellious type of person. समाज के चार समूहों में ब्राह्मण, क्षत्रिय, वैश्य, शूद्रों का विभाजन रामेश्वरम में सख्ती से किया गया था। अब्दुल कलाम के विज्ञान शिक्षक शिव सुब्रमण्य अय्यर एक धार्मिक व्यक्ति थे, एक रूढ़िवादी ब्राह्मण थे, लेकिन वह एक विद्रोही प्रकार के व्यक्ति थे। He did his best to break social barriers so that people from varying backgrounds could mingle easily. He used to spend hours with me and would say, Kalam, I want you to develop so that you are on par with the highly educated people of the big cities. Mingle means interact with each other, on par means at the same level. He did not believe in distinction on the basis of the caste system. He worked very hard to break these social barriers. He wanted that people of different castes should interact with each other. He encouraged APJ Abdul Kalam to work hard so that he could be at the same level as the highly educated people who lived in big cities. जाति व्यवस्था के आधार पर भेद नहीं मानते थे। इन सामाजिक बाधाओं को तोड़ने के लिए उन्होंने बहुत मेहनत की। वह चाहते थे कि विभिन्न जातियों के लोग आपस में बातचीत करें। उन्होंने एपीजे अब्दुल कलाम को कहा, कड़ी मेहनत करो और शहर के जो शिक्षित लोग हैं तुम्हें उनकी तरह आगे बढ़ना है। One day he invited me to his home for a meal. His wife was horrified at the idea of a Muslim boy being invited to dine in her ritually pure kitchen. She refused to serve me in her kitchen. Ritually pure means kept protected from all outside influences for the observances of religion. Shiv Subramanya Iyen's wife belonged to a traditional and orthodox Brahmin family. She followed the religion very strictly, and to keep the kitchen pure, no one from an inferior religion was allowed to enter the kitchen. When Subramanya Iyer called APJ Abdul Kalam for dinner at his home, his wife feared that a boy from a Muslim family would make her kitchen impure. She refused to serve him food in her kitchen. Subramanya Iyer was not perturbed, nor did he get angry with his wife, but instead served me with his own hands and sat down beside me to eat his meal. Perturbed means upset. Shiv Subramanya Iyer was neither upset nor angry. He himself served food to APJ and sat down beside him to eat. His wife watched us from behind the kitchen door. I wondered whether she had observed any difference in the way I ate rice, drank water, or cleaned the floor after the meal. His wife stood beside the kitchen door and looked at APJ while he was having food. APJ says that he does not think that she felt there was any difference in the way he was having his food or the way he was drinking water or in the way he cleaned the floor after the meal. When I was leaving his house, Shiva Subramanya Ayers invited me to join him for dinner again the next weekend. Observing me, he told me not to get upset, saying, once you decide to change the system, such problems have to be confronted. Cessation means doubt or delay. Confronted means faced, tackled. When APJ was about to leave Shiva Subramanya Ayer's house, he invited him for dinner once again. When Shiva Subramanya Ayer saw that APJ Abdul Kalam was hesitant, he asked him not to be upset. He added that if he had decided to change the system to go against the norms of the society, he had to be strong and brave and confront the situation. When I visited his house the next week, Shiv Subramanyam Ayer's wife took me inside her kitchen and served me food with her own hands. When he visited Shiv Subramanya Ayer's home for dinner the next week, his wife made him sit in the kitchen and served him food with her own hands. This is the change that happened. जब वह अगले हफ्ते रात के खाने के लिए शिव सुब्रमण्यम अय्यर के घर गए तो उनकी पत्नी ने उन्हें रसोई में बिठाया और उन्हें अपने हाथों से खाना परोसा। ये वो बदलाव है जो हुआ। Then the Second World War was over and India's freedom was imminent. Indians will build their own India, declared Gandhiji. The whole country was filled with an unprecedented optimism. Imminent means about to happen. Unprecedented means never done or known before. Optimism means hope, cheer. When the Second World War got over in the year 1945, India was about to get freedom, which happened in the year 1947. Mahatma Gandhi, known as the father of the nation, was a crucial part of India's freedom struggle. He said that Indians would build their own India. The entire country was filled with hope and happiness. Everyone was experiencing such a feeling which they had never felt before. Everyone was hoping that now they would get their freedom. I asked my father for permission to leave Rameshwaram and study at the district headquarters in Ramanathapuram. He told me as if thinking aloud, Abul, I know you have to go away to grow. Does the seagull not fly across the sun alone and without a nest? APJ asked his father to allow him to go to Ramanathapuram, which was the district headquarters for higher studies. In reply, his father told him that he knew that APJ needed to go away so that he could move ahead in life. He gave the example of a seagull which flies away in the sky all alone and does not have a nest. It means it does not have a home of its own as it keeps on flying from one place to another. He quoted Khalil Gibran to my hesitant mother, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts." Longing means desire, for they have their own thoughts. Excerpt from Your Children, पोएम बाय खलील गिब्रान। खलील गिब्रान की जो पोएम योर चिल्ड्रन है उसमें से ये फ्रेज ली गई है। When APJ's mother came to know that he was about to leave home and wanted to go to Ramanathapuram for higher studies, she got upset. APJ's father tried to calm her down and told her a few lines from a famous poem titled Your Children, written by Khalil Gibran. He said that your children are not your children. They are the children of life. Don't think that you can rule your children. They are a result of life's desire for itself. They have their own thoughts. He asked her to give them freedom to fulfill their thoughts. जब एपीजी की माँ को इस बात का पता चला कि वो आगे की पढ़ाई रामनाथपुरम में करना चाहता है तो वह परेशान हो गई और अब्दुल कलाम के पिता ने खलील गिब्रान की जो कविता है योर चिल्ड्रन उसकी प्रसिद्ध लाइन सुनाई। हमें बच्चों पे हमारे विचार नहीं थोपने चाहिए, हमें उनकी मर्जी उनकी इच्छाएं भी जानना आवश्यक है। बच्चों की स्वतंत्रता हमें नष्ट नहीं करनी चाहिए। इस तरह एपीजे के पिता एपीजे की माता को समझाते हैं। Here we have come to an end. So thank you very much. Take care, stay home, stay safe.